Do you remember the first adjustment we did? I wish we had a camera on you.
Yeah.
You remember you laughed?
Yeah. Well, you get this sensation. I got it after the second adjustment too. I just didn't say anything. But once you make an adjustment and you bite down for the first time on that little T-scan thing to check it, I felt this like tingling sensation. It starts here and it goes all the way down your head.
What a rush.
Yeah. And then you just get really tired, for about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels really good. Because my bite, like I do feel a difference in how I bite down. It feels like it feels like I don't have any like noticeable pressure on any side of the mouth. And the only reason I notice this because after the first adjustment, I could, after you know what to look for now, you kind of notice different things, right? I'll tell you another change that's happened and was something I really didn't know I was doing until I caught myself doing it. And I know my dad does it too because I've watched him before. We drive down the road somewhere. I could see his muscles moving up here. Him like biting his teeth and kind of doing that during the day. It's harder for me to do that now. I have to like catch myself like actually having to bite down.
Yep.
It seems like when I'm at rest, my teeth don't want to touch.
Which is so different from what you had before.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I always have to make myself kind of bite down like that, kind of feel it.
So at rest, you feel more comfortable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Right on.
Because I've seen ENT, neurologists, a cardiologist, pulmonologist, a primary care now. I got all these different doctors on so my neurologist says I have mild neuropathy in my feet. So they did a nerve test. I've never had that done before. It's weird. But she was thinking that could be some of my balance issues when I stand up. Feeling like I'm falling back or kind of doing this, whatever. So I went to physical therapy for that. And we actually ended up working on vestibular therapy and core. She's like, oh, this is what you need to work on to fix that. So that has been helping with a lot of the stuff.
Okay.
But I started going to a cardiologist last year because I was starting to wake up and getting these like my heart would be racing, and I would like kind of lose my breath and get dizzy at the same time, and everything said I was having an anxiety attack. But my heart doctor's like, oh, you have sleep apnea. Everything's sleep apnea, right? Okay. So they did echoes on me and everything. My heart's fine. But I went to a pulmonologist that he recommended me to. They do a sleep study. And they're like, oh, yeah, you have real bad sleep apnea, like really bad. So they put me on the machine. And then I started seeing an ENT. And she's like, oh, it sounds like you have BPPV, vertigo, right? And so she was... when I first started going to her, all my audio, they do a test where they do pressure tests on your ears, and all my pressure tests always came back with negative pressure on both of my ears. This one worse than this one. And she kept pushing me. She's like, we got to do ear tubes, right? Because it's going to knock the pressure out. She was thinking the pressure was holding in fluid in my ear that was making me dizzy. Because if I sleep on where this ear is laying down on this side, I'm fine. But if I sleep with this side laying down, that's usually when I get vertigo. So I don't know what happened in 2015 in Atlanta when I got it, but the second time I was on my stomach, and I thought what had happened was that my head had fallen off my pillow and I overextended my neck and it made me dizzy, right? I hit a nerve or something. But I don't think that's the case. But anyway, so I did get another dizzy spell back in November. Where I was sleeping on with this ear down, and I woke up. I was only asleep for maybe an hour and a half. I woke up spinning, so I recorrected myself. Slowly calmed down. I slept on this side, and it was fine. I woke up one more time around midnight for something, and I repositioned, got dizzy again, so I repositioned myself, and I was fine again. And then when I woke up, it was gone. Right. Don't know what had happened. I called the ENT. They did a test on me where they lay you back and do the head thing like that, and to the other side, never got dizzy. So they're like, well, maybe you corrected whatever you had. And that's always been the case. Like if it does happen for a longer period of time with the dizzy spells, usually about half a day is most of it lasts, and then it'll slowly goes away. The sleep apnea is the only formal diagnosis I received.
Okay.
The stuff with the ears, you know, what I've read and what she's told me is that, or my doctor's told me, is that ear stuff is like still new medicine almost, to where there's so many symptoms for so many different things.
Yep.
They really can't pinpoint what it is unless they do certain tests.
So what steered you in the direction of looking at DTR?
Honestly, I was like, I've never been a hypochondriac, but for some reason lately, I think it's just the whole dizziness thing. It sucks because there's really no fix for it.
Yep.
You know, there's no cure for being dizzy besides either probably losing weight, exercise, you know, eating different, or this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, whenever I would put symptoms in for like what kind of stuff I had, number one, some of my stuff I guess is rare and it didn't come up with any kind of symptoms, or it would kept leading back to Meniere's disease, BPPV,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those are the two main ones. Well, BPPV is, Meniere's is actually rare, or it's rarer. So I wanted to look at a video of, you know, because people do vlogs all the time. So I wanted to see if I could find a vlog of people, someone who actually has Meniere's disease and what they go through, to see if we're going through the same things.
Okay.
And that's when I started looking it up. And the second and third video that popped up was the one with the guy in Oregon.
Yep.
Over in Eugene.
Yep.
And it was a guy who was talking about, he had severe Meniere's disease where it would put him down for a week, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't get out of bed, couldn't do this, and, you know, and a lot of these problems in his life that he had because of it. And he had tried everything, you know, he had tried the, you know, the diet and the this and the that and everything
Mm-hmm.
else, but nothing seemed to help it. So I don't know, I can't remember what he said, how he found DTR therapy,
Okay.
but he was talking about it. When they were talking to me, I was sensors on his face,
Yep.
you know, and so they did the therapy. He said after the first round of therapy, he flew back home, no problems whatsoever, like everything subsided. Then that night he had the worst attack he'd ever had, Meniere's attack, that lasted about 18 hours.
Yep.
And after that one attack, it went away. And I didn't watch the full video,
That's okay.
but he talked about like he only has like minor issues now, where if he gets vertigo or he gets any kind of dizzy problems, they're very short. You know, just that one therapy, he noticed this change, and then I don't know if the video continued through his progress of therapy of his third, fourth, fifth, or whatever visits, how many he did, right?
Yep.
I don't know if it progressed through that. I think it was just the first therapy,
Okay.
and him talking about it and them showing it. Then I watched another video that was kind of a compilation. I think it was the doctor himself that did the video. It was about 10 minutes long.
Yep.
And it was a bunch of different patients talking about how this has helped with migraines, it's helped with neck pain, shoulder pain, a TMJ obviously.
It's all connected.
Yep, vertigo, all kinds of stuff, you know.
Okay.
And these people going through before and after shots of like, you know, like, oh yeah, none of this stuff's around anymore. I've had somewhat of a vertigo, like from like fishing and stuff like that, being on the water all day, from when I was probably that started when I was about 12, you know, go fishing all day, get off stuff like around the water.
Yep.
Other than that, I've never really had any dizziness or vertigo issues at all until probably 2009, somewhere around there. I was at work one day, and I was going out to catch samples, and I got out of the truck and got dizzy, right? And so I just stood there for a minute, and it went away. And that started getting worse and worse as the years went on. And it was like, it wasn't anything that was like long term. It would only happen for maybe a minute or two at the most, and then it would kind of slowly go away. I did have braces when I was in high school, but as I told you before, I had an 80% overbite, and they corrected that. I didn't have my wisdom teeth pulled until probably like 5 years ago, maybe. And they only pulled 3. They left one in. They said it wasn't bothering anything. It's not touching anything, not moving anything.
Okay.
So, anyways, the dizziness, I used to smoke. I still vape, but I don't vape as much, and I haven't smoked since 2017.
Okay.
But I used to smoke, and I've gained weight over the years as well. But the dizzy spells were kind of like here and there, right? And like I said, they were never really that bad. And sometimes I would just randomly get dizzy. Sometimes my eyes would kind of like do something weird, and then I would get dizzy for a little bit. It was all kinds of stuff. I never had it checked out, right? Until about 2 years ago, I started going back to the doctor. I do a CPAP machine now. I have sleep apnea. I have what do you call it? Obstructive OS something or other. It's real bad, pretty much. So I do use the CPAP every day.
Okay.
I forgot the mouth guard. I forgot to bring the mouth guard. But I told my dentist about my jaw clicking. I don't know when that started happening. I don't remember when that started happening. But he says I do grind my teeth. He can tell from the way my teeth look, I guess, that I grind my teeth. So he gave me a little mouth splint.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it tore up because I'm grinding them when I'm sleeping, or because I used to keep it in mouthwash when I wasn't using it. And in a mouthwash deteriorated, that plastic, that rubber stuff. I don't know which one it was. But anyways.
So if you're using the CPAP, you were wearing that thing at the same time?
Yes. Yeah.
And are you still doing that every night?
Most nights.
Okay.
So the CPAP I have is called the F30 mask. It sits right on your nose right here, and push air in your nose and around your mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes my nose will get stuffy, so I breathe through my mouth. So we're both of them. I do have, anyways, back around 2015 or so, I can't remember the exact date, I went to Atlanta on a safety trip, and that morning I had to go to a class. I woke up and I was dizzy where it wouldn't go away, right? I just stayed dizzy. I had to go to the class, so I just fought through it. It wasn't bad enough to where, I couldn't walk or I couldn't move. I was dizzy, right? So I fought through it, took a shower. I walked to the class, and, well enough when I walked, I was about a mile away, and I never got dizzy, but then I got to the classroom, I'd sit down, and I would get dizzy. That happened until about noon, and it went away. Didn't happen again until 2020. The same thing happened. I was sleeping. It woke me up. I was dizzy.
Okay.
And it was one of these ones. As long as I sat and focused on something, I wouldn't be dizzy. But if I moved my head, I got dizzy again, right? And that was about half a day thing. And I knew it wasn't anything with my eyes, because I could literally sit there and play video games on my TV and not get dizzy. But if I looked down or over, it starts spinning again. The jaw thing, I don't know when my jaws and stuff have been clicking, how long that's been. My mom said she has the same problem. Her jaws click a lot.
Yeah.
But when I wake up in the morning, they feel real tight.
Yep.
And I notice also if I try to open my mouth all the way like that, I can hear like this. The best way I can describe it is like a low road noise. Like when you're driving down the road, you're on the highway, you hear that low rumble. That's what it sounds like in my head when I open my mouth like that, right?
Both sides?
Yes, both sides. I do notice that when I'm eating, the tension kind of goes away. And sometimes when I open my mouth like that, I won't get dizzy, but I'll get a little like kind of off balance a little bit, I don't know what that is. They click and pop all the time. Most of them, the popping kind of sounds like when you pop your back, that low thud noise. But sometimes it's a real sharp pop, and that one scares me. It sounds like two bones, like hitting like that.
And that's on both sides too?
Mostly this side does that.
Okay.
This side does it sometimes.
Yep.
But this side does it the most.
Okay.
I have noticed, I don't know if this has anything to do with the jaws, but this ear canal seems tighter or smaller than this ear canal does.
Okay.
Also, this ear is more sensitive. Like where if I clean my ears out with something, this one has more sensitivity to it than this one does.
Okay.
I did get ear tubes put in back in December, and they really didn't help with most of it. I still feel I don't get dizzy anymore. I haven't got dizzy in a long time. I haven't tried to sleep on this side yet. I'm so nervous about it.
Of course.
But what's weird now is that when I wear the CPAP, I can hear air blowing through my ears.
Mm-hmm.
So my eustachian tubes aren't closing, I'm pretty sure. Well, she says, I don't know. But, yeah, when I swallow, every time I swallow, my ears click, you know. Not like a bone click, but kind of like it's like something stuck together, opening back up, you know.
Yeah.
If I burp, like if I have like a burp, like an indigestion, I can feel it in this ear. That's weird, right? So what I've researched, Google pretty much, you know, Dr. Google, is that means that my eustachian tube here isn't closing, it's staying open. So I know I ain't tell my ENT that, but
Okay.
I'll see her in April, so it's not a big deal right now.
So today's appointment, we're going to be doing the screening for DTR therapy, right?
Okay.
And we're going to get a diagnosis on your joints. We're going to measure your muscle activity when you close and move your jaw around. We're going to take an image of your mouth so that we have what it looks like right now. That'll help for a little Q&A once we get done. Any questions about what we're doing today?
No.
Ready to get started?
Yeah. After the first couple of days, I had a little bit of a headache. You know, like you said, you get a little bit of tension headache here. That went away. The next stuff I was having done, the neck pain back here, I don't know if it was because of some stretches I was doing, but that slowly started going away too, to where now it's not as prevalent. You know what I mean? I can still feel it sometimes if I've been down like that. You can still feel it in my shoulders, but it's not there as much anymore. When I swallow, in the morning I still get it, but by the afternoon, like I would get this like almost like a light popping noise in my ears every time I swallow. You know, kind of like when you clear your ears, like you're on a plane. That's kind of what it feels like, or sounds like, not feels like. A lot of times, I noticed that sometimes when I would get dizzy in certain positions, when I lay down or stand up or sit down, I don't get dizzy anymore. I'll get the effect like I'm about to get dizzy, and then it just kind of goes away.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, it just kind of goes away. So as far as right now, I haven't been dizzy lately, right? I don't know if sometimes I think if my dizzy spells were not vertigo, if they were like anxiety, you know what I mean?
It can be a combo.
Exactly. You know, because a lot of times when I would get dizzy, I'd also get my heart rate would increase, and then I would kind of like feel like I can't catch my breath, you know, which when you look it up, that's anxiety. So the headaches. So when I wake up in the morning,
Right here.
yeah, whether I use my little quick splint or not, if I use the quick splint, I don't get the headaches up here. If I don't use it, I usually only get it on this side. You can feel it kind of like right here, and it'll go down behind my ear right here. You know, I can feel this. It's kind of sore, right? Sometimes I can rub it and it'll go away. One thing that has been happening that's different is I'll get the like pain behind my ears right here after chewing, but I can rub it like right there. Right there. It feels really good.
That's a muscle.
Yeah. I can rub that right there and it goes away. Now, there's times where I have to like close my eyes and like listen to hear it. You know, it'll still slightly be there, but I'm 40. I have loud hobbies, so
Sure.
it's nothing uncommon. But yeah, it's not as bad as it used to be. I do get this other noise that started happening It was before this, but I think it has to do with the tubes in my ears, not with the muscles. It's this low roaring noise I get. And what I've researched, it says if you listen to something that's too loud, it's your ear trying to like protect itself from blowing out your eardrums or whatever, or messing your ears up. So, and it'll go away. It only happens usually for about maybe an hour, then it'll go away too. You know, it's like it's like when you're driving down the road going like 70 on the highway, that road noise you get.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
That road kind of rumble noise. Yeah, I don't feel that neck pain I used to get all the time anymore. I sleep the same way. I haven't changed how I sleep at all, you know. But this doesn't bother me as much as it used to. So that's good.
Sounds like we've made some progress.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.